You will spend nearly 1/3 of your life in the realm of sleep. That's around 26 years of your life for the average human. Yet for most people, sleep is a mystery. They don't know the first thing about what is actually happening when they sleep. And it's hard to improve something that you don't fundamentally understand. A good night's sleep can brighten the world with endless possibilities. A bad night's sleep can turn simple tasks into overwhelming challenges. And overall, the better you sleep, the longer you live. Once you understand the sleep realm, you unlock all the secrets to a better night's sleep. You will discover the reasons why you had a good night or bad night's sleep, and how your sleep can be optimized. This video was inspired by Matthew Walker's amazing book, Why We Sleep. We're going to be doing a detailed visual summary and dive deep into topics like the sleep cycle, circadian rhythms, plus heaps more. And make sure to stick around until the end of the video where I go step by step through how I've personally been using this book and how you can start applying it to your own sleep tonight. Part 1. What is sleep? Sleep is the single most effective thing we can do to reset our brain and body health each day. Mother Nature's best effort yet at contra death. Matthew Walker. Sleep architecture. Let's go on a journey through the sleep cycle and become familiar with the stages and core components of sleep. Every night when you close your eyes and gently drift away from the land of wakefulness and into sleep, you go on a magical journey. A journey begins at the gateway to slumber, otherwise known as Stage 1, the lightest stage of sleep. Stage 1 occurs right after you fall asleep, and you will usually spend less than 10 minutes here. You are dipping your toes into the void of sleep. When you're here, you're in a very light sleep from which you can be awakened easily. Here you experience the gentle transition from the world of wakefulness into the realm of sleep. As we dive deeper, we reach Stage 2, the fortress of silence. Your body enters a more subdued state. Your temperature drops, your muscles become more relaxed, and your breathing and heart rate slow down. At the same time, your brainwaves show a new pattern and your eye movement stops. When you're here in Stage 2, on the whole, brain activity slows. But there are short bursts of activity. Here the brain produces sleep spindles and K complexes. These phenomena, like magic spells, not only help to decrease sensory inputs, protecting your sleep, but also aid in memory consolidation and information processing. Someone with a higher frequency of sleep spindles will be more resilient to outside noises and being awakened easily. You then travel even deeper where you reach the mysterious realms of Stage 3 and Stage 4, the deepest stages of sleep. This is the land of restoration. Your brainwaves become even slower, your body tissues heal, your immune system restores, energy is replenished, and growth hormones are released. This is where your body heals and grows. If I were to wake you up right now, you would feel disorientated and groggy. If you don't spend enough time here in this stage, you will feel physically tired, your immune system will become weakened, and your cognitive function will decrease. Finally, you travel up out of the deep depths of Stage 3 and 4, pass again through the land of Stage 2, and arrive at the most magical part of your journey. The theater of dreams, rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep, where your dreams come alive. Here in REM, our brain activity is bustling with activity, creating the fantastical stories that you experience as dreams. Although dreams may occur in any sleep stage, this is where your dreams most frequently occur. The dreams in this stage are vivid and often bizarre. Your eyes are moving randomly and rapidly, your brainwaves become similar to those of when you're awake, and the muscles in your body become paralyzed, which keeps you safe and prevents you from acting out your dream in your sleep. Scientists believe REM sleep is vital for memory consolidation, learning, mood regulation, and creativity. This is the end of the cycle, and just like that, a new cycle begins, taking you on a magical journey again and again. The cycle repeats itself around every 90 minutes, until the morning light calls you back. If we look at 5 sleep cycles over 8 hours, it is important to notice the peculiar dynamic that occurs. The balance between deep sleep and REM sleep shifts over the course of the night. With each sleep cycle, deep sleep decreases and REM sleep increases. Most of your REM sleep will occur in the last few hours before you wake up. It is important to understand this dynamic because even a seemingly small reduction, say from 8 hours down to 6, could actually deprive you of up to 70% of your REM sleep. If you aren't spending enough time here in REM sleep, you can expect decreased concentration, irritability, mood swings, increased stress levels, reduced creativity, and reduced problem-solving ability. And that is the magical journey of a sleep cycle. Sleep isn't just a retreat from our busy lives, but a vital journey our body undertakes to keep us healthy, sharp, and ready for each new day. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember the incredible adventure that awaits. Rhythm. 2 principal factors regulate your wakefulness and your need for sleep. your internal circadian rhythm, also known as your body's 24-hour clock, and a chemical known as adenosine. The circadian rhythm dictates rhythmic patterns including moods, eating and drinking preferences, core body temperature, and hormone release, among other things. It even impacts processes like athletic performance and the timing of births and deaths. This internal clock operates in an approximately 24-hour cycle and communicates its daily circadian rhythm signal to every region of the brain and every organ in the body. It is produced by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain, which uses light levels to calibrate your body clock. Studies have shown that every animal species, including humans, possess an endogenous circadian rhythm. This innate rhythm may be slightly longer or shorter than 24 hours depending on the species. For example, humans' internal clock averages at about 24 hours and 15 minutes. However, the most reliable external cue, daylight, helps to reset our internal timepiece back to exactly 24 hours daily. This internal rhythm is controlled by melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone produced in your brain that regulates sleep and wakefulness. Its release into the bloodstream typically begins at dusk, signaling to your body to prepare for sleep. This release is gradually reduced throughout the night, until the dawn sunlight cues your brain to halt the release. While daylight is the most dependable resetting signal for our biological clock, other recurring signals such as temperature changes and social interactions can also serve this purpose. Genetics. Your rhythm is not the same as mine. Our individual circadian rhythm differs due to our genetic makeup. Some people referred to as morning larks feel most energized in the morning, while others, the night owls, function best at night. The societal preference for daytime work often leads to misunderstandings about night owls, who may be misjudged as lazy. They often have to compensate for their unproductive workday by burning the midnight oil. Adenosine. Adenosine is the second key factor in sleep regulation. It progressively accumulates while you're awake, resulting in sleep pressure after being awake for 12 to 18 hours. This pressure decreases as you sleep and is generally fully purged after 8 hours of sleep. The consumption of caffeine can mitigate the effects of adenosine, but it does not prevent the chemical's buildup. This can lead to a dependency cycle, as you may feel worse once the effect of caffeine wears off. Moreover, consuming caffeine in the evening can disrupt your sleep, as 50% of it remains in your system 5 to 7 hours later. Both the circadian rhythm and adenosine work independently, powering your wake drive and sleep drive respectively. Throughout the day, adenosine levels increase, and as you sleep, adenosine levels decrease. Their combined effects make you feel wide awake at noon after a good night's sleep, as there's only a minor gap between the two drives. Conversely, a large gap between the two drives at 11 p.m. makes you feel the urge to sleep. The larger this gap becomes between the two drives, the more sleep pressure you will feel. Ultimately, understanding your sleep-wake cycle is paramount to maximizing your productivity and maintaining your health. Factors such as light exposure, caffeine intake, and awareness of your individual rhythm can significantly affect your sleep quality and overall well-being. Architecture of the brain for sleep. Let's briefly take a look at 7 parts of the brain that are related to sleep. 1. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. Located in the hypothalamus, the SCN controls the circadian rhythm, which we looked at earlier. It regulates the sleep-wake cycle by signaling other parts of the brain to release hormones, control body temperature, and perform other functions that can make a person feel sleepy or awake. 2. Pineal gland. The pineal gland, located deep in the center of the brain, produces the hormone melatonin when it's dark to help promote sleep. 3. Thalamus. Think of your thalamus as the gatekeeper between wakefulness and sleep. During most stages of sleep, the thalamus becomes quiet, letting you tune out the external world. But during REM sleep, the thalamus is active, sending cortex images, sounds, and other sensations that fill our dreams. 4. Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus contains neurons that control sleep and arousal, and is an important part of the brain for sleep regulation. 5. Pons. Located in the brainstem, the pons contains neural pathways that connect the brain and the spinal cord. It has a significant role in generating REM sleep and is involved in the regulation of breathing, hearing, and taste. 6. Medulla. The medulla, also part of the brainstem, helps control autonomic functions like heart rate and blood pressure, which are essential for maintaining a state conducive to sleep. And 7. Basal forebrain. The basal forebrain promotes sleep and wakefulness. The release of adenosine by cells in the basal forebrain supports your sleep drive. Part 2. Why should you sleep? Sleep is the chief nourisher in life's feast. Shakespeare. The benefits of sleep. Sleep has proven itself time and time again as a memory aid, both before learning, to prepare your brain for initially making new memories, and after learning, to cement those memories and prevent forgetting. Matthew Walker. Memory consolidation. Sleep plays an invaluable role in the consolidation of memory. Prior to learning, it refreshes our ability to form new memories, and post-learning, it solidifies these memories, reducing the likelihood of forgetting. At its core, sleep functions as a memory aid that operates on a daily cycle. When it comes to memory and sleep within your brain, you can think of your hippocampus like a thumb drive with limited storage, and your cortex as your main hard drive. During the non-rapid eye movement NREM sleep stage, short-term memories stored in the hippocampus, unlimited capacity brain region, are shifted to the cortex, a larger capacity long-term memory store. This transfer process serves dual purposes, freeing up space for new information absorption and preserving valuable information for long-term use. Motor task proficiency. The unique ability of sleep to consolidate and strengthen different types of memories extends to the domain of motor tasks, commonly known as muscle memory. The term is slightly misleading as the memory resides in your brain and not in your muscles. In instances where a motor task proves challenging, such as executing a complex piano sequence, sleep aids the brain in practicing the skill and smoothing out the wrinkles. Therefore, waking up without sufficient sleep could lead to losing valuable sleep hours that contribute to the consolidation of these motor memories. Creativity. Furthermore, sleep nurtures creativity by associating disparate memories, experiences, and skills, thus enabling the birth of fresh ideas and insights. This creative enhancement is particularly linked to the rapid eye movement REM sleep stage. REM sleep, often associated with dreaming, functions as the informational alchemist, merging diverse knowledge stores and facilitating innovative problem-solving abilities. REM sleep's influence extends to some of the most transformative thinking in human history. Sleep deprivation versus the brain. In terms of cognitive performance, lack of sleep notably impairs focus and concentration. After 19 hours of wakefulness, an individual can exhibit cognitive function equivalent to a legally intoxicated person. While power naps can provide temporary relief from fatigue, they cannot substitute regular sleep. In a state of exhaustion, individuals might experience microsleep episodes, momentary periods of unconsciousness lasting 1 to 2 seconds, potentially leading to fatal outcomes in risky situations such as driving. Astonishingly, fatigue-related errors cause more traffic incidents in the US than those from alcohol and drugs combined. Moreover, despite compensatory mechanisms our brain activates during sleep deprivation, we fail to accurately perceive the extent of our sleep deficiency. Emotion regulation is another facet severely impacted by sleep deprivation. It heightens activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, overpowering the logical prefrontal cortex. This imbalance results in alternating extreme moods, including negative ones associated with aggression and bullying, and positive ones that can lead to risky behavior and addiction. The detrimental effects of sleep deprivation also extends to memory consolidation, as the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory formation, appears to shut down without sufficient sleep. Long-term sleep deprivation can inflict lasting damage to our DNA and learning-associated genes, disrupting our capacity to learn and retain new information. Sleep deprivation is a formidable disruptor of brain function, affecting every facet of human life. Not only does it deteriorate cognitive abilities and emotional stability, but it also contributes to long-term brain health issues, including Alzheimer's disease. Sleep deprivation versus the body. Here are 5 effects sleep deprivation can have on the body. Cardiovascular health. Research shows that unhealthy sleep leads to an unhealthy heart. The risk of developing and/or dying from coronary heart disease rises by 45% with progressively shorter sleep. For adults aged 45 and above, sleeping fewer than 6 hours a night leads to a 200% increased likelihood of suffering a heart attack or stroke. This unhealthy sleep often results from an overreactive sympathetic nervous system that triggers a stressful fight or flight state, leading to increased heart rates, blood pressure, and cortisol levels. This is in contrast with the deep relaxation of the body during NREM sleep, which is characterized by a drop in heart rate and blood pressure. Metabolism. Sleep deprivation also detrimentally affects metabolism, significantly contributing to weight gain and increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. With sleep loss, your appetite increases due to changes in hunger and satiety hormones, leading to overeating and weight gain. Furthermore, a lack of sleep can make your body less able to manage calorie intake effectively. This inefficiency extends to how the body processes blood sugar, with insulin reception compromised after just a week of 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night. The ramifications of sleep loss also extend to the reproductive system. Men face a significant reduction in testosterone levels equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years with sleep deprivation. Similarly, sleep-deprived women face fertility issues, including a 20% reduction in follicular-releasing hormone necessary for conception, and are at an increased risk of miscarriages. The immune system. The immune system too relies heavily on sufficient sleep. Lack of sleep can suppress the immune response, reducing the number of natural killer cells that form the body's first line of defense against infections. Even minor sleep loss can impair immune function, whereas chronic sleep deprivation can result in a 40% increased risk of developing cancer compared to those who get 7 hours or more of sleep a night. Finally, sleep deprivation can attack the very structure of your genetic material. Thousands of genes within the brain rely on consistent, adequate sleep for stable regulation. Insufficient sleep can alter the activity of 711 genes, increasing those linked to chronic inflammation, cellular stress, and cardiovascular disease, while decreasing those that are promoting stable metabolism and optimal immune responses. Sleep deprivation is a serious issue that damages every aspect of our physiology, contributing to a host of diseases and shortening lifespans. The shorter you sleep, the shorter your life. Matthew Walker. Part 3. The Science of Dreams. Your brain on dreams. A primary stage of sleep associated with vivid dreaming is rapid eye movement REM sleep. In this state, brain activity is high and bears a resemblance to being awake. Interestingly, specific parts of the brain, such as the visuospatial regions, motor cortex, hippocampus, and deep emotional centers, are 30% more active during REM sleep than when we're awake. On the contrary, regions responsible for rational thought and logical decision-making, notably areas of the prefrontal cortex, deactivate, contributing to the often bizarre, emotionally charged dreams that we experience. Dreams, emotions, and therapy. Dreams may not be a simple replay of our waking lives, but they seem to reflect our emotional concerns. One fascinating theory suggests that REM sleep dreaming offers a form of overnight therapy, essentially transforming painful or traumatic emotional episodes from the day into a less emotionally charged memory. During REM sleep, noradrenaline, a stress-related chemical, is entirely absent from the brain, offering an anxiety-free environment to process these memories. Dreams and facial expressions. Apart from helping process and diffuse emotional experiences, dreams also play a vital role in decoding social cues. The ability to accurately read facial expressions, which is a crucial social skill, is notably influenced by REM sleep. REM sleep readjusts the brain's emotional calibration, maintaining the precision required to decode others' emotions based on their facial expressions accurately. Deprivation of REM sleep results in a decreased ability to correctly interpret facial expressions, skewing them as hostile or aggressive. Matthew Walker in the book suggests we have a long way to go in fully understanding dreams. Current research points towards their multifunctional role, including memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and fostering creativity. As we continue exploring the world of dreams with modern neuroscience, he anticipates uncovering even more about their function and significance. Part 4. Sleep disorders. Somnambulism, more commonly known as sleepwalking, is a sleep disorder marked by unconscious movement during sleep. These activities, which can include routines as mundane as brushing teeth or drinking water, occur predominantly during the lighter stages of NREM sleep. Although it is more prevalent among children, most individuals outgrow this condition by their teenage years. Insomnia is another sleep disorder characterized by significant difficulties in both falling and staying asleep. Even when they reserve an ample 7 to 9 hours of sleep, insomniacs struggle with sleep. Emotional distress and other overreactive sympathetic nervous system activities typically trigger insomnia. This sleep disorder disrupts the sleep cycle, resulting in less profound deep NREM brainwaves and fragmented REM sleep. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder which hampers the control of sleep and wakefulness, characterized by extreme daytime sleepiness, sleep paralysis, and cataplexy, which is a sudden loss of muscle control. The loss of brain cells which are responsible for producing orexin, which is a chemical that signals wakefulness, is commonly observed in narcoleptic patients, causing them to constantly hover between sleep and wakefulness. Fatal familial insomnia is a rare genetic degenerative brain disorder. Those with this condition gradually lose their ability to sleep, which leads to significant physical and mental deterioration, and typically results in death within 10 months. The effects of extreme sleep deprivation. Experiments conducted on rats and dogs that showed the extreme ramifications of sleep deprivation revealed septicemia as the final fatal consequence. These bacteria-induced systemic infections were made possible by the weakened immune system due to sleep deprivation. The same studies demonstrated that sleep-deprived subjects lost body mass, couldn't maintain their body temperature, and suffered extensive internal damage. Okay, let's go through step by step some practical ways that you can start using the information from this book to begin improving your sleep, hopefully as soon as tonight. Obviously, if you are suffering from some form of sleep disorder, you should definitely seek the advice of a trained professional. I'm in no way a doctor. This is not in any way medical advice, just giving my own personal learnings and implementations from this book. So let's jump into it. So in my opinion, sleep optimization can be divided down into 5 main categories. My goal over the next 10 minutes or so is to help give you a framework within which you can work to optimize your sleep over the coming days, weeks, and years. So let's start with number 1, and that would be diet and substances. So when it comes to food and beverages, you should avoid large meals and fluids at least a few hours before sleep. And that's mainly due to 2 reasons, which are indigestion and metabolism. Personally, I like to think of these systems within my body, the digestive system and metabolism, like factories. So ideally, a few hours before bed, you want to make sure that these factories are beginning to wind down and are completely shut down by the time you wish to sleep. If you eat a large meal right before bed, it's like asking these factories to continue working on into the night at full capacity. This keeps the body active when it should be slowing down. And not only that, digesting food ideally should be done in an upright position to help with digestion. Laying down after food makes that digestive process more difficult, and that's what leads to discomfort and potential sleep disruptions. During sleep, you want to allow your body to be completely focused on relaxing and recovering, and not to be actively working on tasks such as digestion and metabolism. Next would be drinking. So drinking a lot of fluids before bed also disrupts sleep because of the need for frequent urination during the night. For myself personally, I've recorded much better nights of sleep since limiting fluids to 2 to 3 hours before sleeping. So that might be something that you would like to experiment with. Moving on to substances. There are 2 common stimulants which interfere with sleep, and those would be caffeine and nicotine. If you're a fellow coffee drinker like myself, it's definitely good to be aware of its effects on sleep. So I believe the half-life of coffee is around 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, depending on your genetics. So if you want to improve sleep, you should be avoiding caffeine at least 8 hours before the time that you intend to sleep, and maybe even longer than that if you want to be extra cautious. For myself, I try to only consume caffeine before 11 a.m., giving myself a large enough window for the caffeine to be completely purged from my body before I intend to sleep. To go a little deeper on what actually causes that interference, if you recall earlier in the video on the topic of adenosine, caffeine will bind to the adenosine receptors within your brain. So whilst adenosine is trying to promote sleepiness and relaxation and get you ready for sleep, caffeine is blocking that signal. The other main substance that the book explores is nicotine. So I'm not personally a smoker, so this one doesn't affect me, but just like caffeine, nicotine is also a stimulant, and it has been shown to cause smokers to only get light sleep. They tend to remain in the lighter stages of sleep, and they get less deep and REM sleep. So if you are a smoker, you should understand that you are sacrificing the quality of your sleep. The third common substance is alcohol. So alcohol is a two-edged sword and full of myths when it comes to sleep. It is a sedative, so the name would suggest that it's effective at promoting sleep. However, even if it is able to help you fall asleep quicker, ultimately alcohol is disrupting your sleep cycle. It reduces the amount of deep and restorative sleep that you will get. And it also prevents you from entering the REM stage of sleep. In fact, it states in the book that alcohol is one of the most powerful suppressors of REM sleep that scientists are aware of. So if you want a surefire way to crush your REM sleep, drink alcohol before sleeping. The book also discusses the profound effect that alcohol has on newborn babies and mothers that are heavy drinkers. Because alcohol can readily pass the placental barrier between the mother and the fetus, alcohol significantly disrupts not only the REM sleep of the mother, but also of the newborn. And scientists found that the infants of heavy drinking mothers showed a 200% reduction in the vibrant electrical activity that you would normally see as a characteristic of healthy REM sleep. This reduction in that electrical activity within REM can increase the likelihood of neurological illnesses, such as autism, for instance. From monitoring my own sleep and my own anecdotal evidence, I have noticed this REM reduction alcohol phenomenon to be very true. I'll try to put up here 2 screenshots side by side. On the left is a typical night's sleep, and on the right is after only 3 or 4 glasses of red wine. So you can really see the difference there in the patterns. So yeah, just to put that into perspective, this is not like a big night on alcohol, getting drunk or anything like that. It's just a few glasses of red wine, and you can really see there what it has done to my REM sleep. And I've noticed this on more than one occasion, having monitored my sleep now for, at least the past 2 years or so. So if you are drinking alcohol, it's good to understand that you are sacrificing the quality of not only your deep sleep, but especially that REM sleep. It really does crush the REM sleep. The second way to optimize your sleep is to do with timing. So you should be trying to go to bed and waking up at the same time. You want to have a sleep schedule. So why is this important? A consistent sleep schedule is essential for maintaining a healthy circadian rhythm. So if you're going to bed at, 10 p.m., then 2 a.m., then 7 p.m., 1 a.m., right? If your sleep schedule is all over the place, what you're going to develop is an irregular sleep pattern, which will confuse your circadian rhythm. And when that happens, what you're doing is you're disrupting the timely release of sleep-related hormones such as melatonin. So by sticking to a consistent sleep schedule, basically what you're doing is you're enhancing your circadian rhythm's efficiency. And when you do that, that results in being able to get to sleep easier. You will get more restful nights with less disruptions, and you will have a well-regulated hormonal cycle, including the timely release of melatonin. Another component of timing is naps. So the author suggests not taking naps after 3 p.m. Whilst they can be good for making up for any sleep lost the night before, taking naps too late in the afternoon or early evening will make it harder to fall asleep that night. Taking a nap will release some of that sleep pressure by temporarily reducing the buildup of adenosine. So a good image to keep in mind is the wake-sleep drive that we saw earlier in the video. Okay, moving on to the third category to optimize your sleep, and that would be light levels. So we'll start with morning sunlight. There are many good reasons to get sunlight in the morning, but in relation to sleep, sunlight is a key factor in regulating and resetting your circadian rhythm. So by getting some sunlight early in the day, your body gets a clear signal that it is now daytime, which will help your body to suppress melatonin production and will make you in turn feel more awake. Conversely, it also helps your body regulate when to start producing and releasing melatonin later in the day, which will help promote better sleep that night. The next core component to understand under this category of light is artificial blue light. So in our modern technology-driven world, we're constantly being bathed in this artificial blue light. We get that from phones, laptops, TVs, and other types of screens. And basically this omnipresent blue light, especially after sunset, plays havoc on our natural sleep cycles. So we're basically tricking our circadian rhythm into thinking that it is daytime and to remain awake and alert. When the circadian rhythm is receiving signals it processes as, hey, this is still daytime, it will halt the release of melatonin. And most people think artificial blue light is just mimicking real sunlight, but actually it is worse for your sleep. If we look at sunlight, it has a much broader, more natural light spectrum, whereas the blue light that we receive from LED screens, phones, TVs, etc., is concentrated into a sharp, narrow frequency of the light spectrum. And this is not a natural balance, it's like a sharp peak of blue light. And when you match that sharp peak of blue light with the close proximity of how most people use their phone, which is fairly close to their eyes, this is what really disrupts sleep. The good news is that there are ways that we can limit this sharp peak of blue light after sunset. First would be to always set up and use the apps or software on your devices. Most devices nowadays come with some kind of feature like this, whether it's night shift mode or eye comfort mode. I've set up all my devices to be in sync with sunset to sunrise. If you want to go even further at completely blocking out this blue light, you may want to look into blue light blocking glasses. Personally, I use a brand of glasses called True Dark glasses. Now, these are probably the most overkill option you can find. I have the classic version. The upside is they completely wipe out this blue light. So they definitely do as is intended. The downside is that they remain true to their name, True Dark. So much so that they do take a while to get used to wearing. So it can become a bit of a challenge, at least initially, just navigating around the house when essentially all you have is this kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator vision with what feels like maybe a 50% reduction in the brightness levels around you. But they definitely do work. And obviously there's other options that are not as intense as these particular glasses that I use. So yeah, a good rule of thumb is for better sleep hygiene, it's good to avoid or at least minimize as much as is possible this artificial blue light after sunset. The fourth category for optimizing your sleep is environment. So ideally your bedroom should only be used for sleeping and one other nocturnal activity. So it has to feel like a sanctuary, and that environment's only goal is to help you sleep better. This environment shouldn't be used for working, eating, watching TV, scrolling social media, etc. Only for sleep. The reason for this is rooted in how our brains form associations between environments and behaviors. When you consistently use your bedroom for these specific activities, your brain begins to make a strong connection, and it's like creating a mental shortcut within your brain. It's like you want entering your office to trigger a subconscious response that prepares you to focus and get work done. And just the same, you want entering your bedroom to trigger this, subconscious response that prepares you for sleep. Another component within your environment is darkness. You want your room to be as dark as possible for optimal sleep. Whether that means getting sun-blocking curtains or blackout shades, these can really be a game changer. Especially if you live in a large city with lots of light pollution coming into your room. This darkness will help signal to your brain that natural production of melatonin. If complete darkness can't be achieved through curtains alone, then you may want to consider something like a sleep mask, which you can wear over your eyes, which will be just as effective at blocking out that light. Even small sources of light within your sleep environment, from digital devices or whatever else, these can also be disruptive. So if you can, completely eliminate them from your sleep environment. Next would be comfort. Having a comfortable bed and pillow are also important for optimal sleep. And another little hack that I found recently was using a weighted blanket. So up until a few months ago, I had never heard of these types of blankets and had never used one. And I'm still not really sure on the underlying reason of why weighted blankets promote sleep. So you would need to look into that yourself. But for myself, I have noticed I do get to sleep faster and stay asleep longer since using the blanket. So they're definitely worth looking into. They're quite cheap. I got mine on Amazon, and I believe mine is around 20 pounds of weight, if my memory serves me. But you can get all different weights, and I guess it maybe depends on your body weight or whichever weight is most comfortable for you. I'll leave a link below to the exact one that I got, which has served me well, but I have no idea what its quality is like compared to others, and I'm sure you could find many different options online for your specific weight and needs, etc. The last component of a good sleep environment is temperature. Matthew Walker suggests the optimal temperature conducive to sleep is 18.3 degrees Celsius. or 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So the closer you can make your environment to that number, the better. If money is not an issue to investing into your sleep, you can also look into optimizing your sleep with a temperature-controlled mattress, which uses technology to cater the temperature to your personal comfort needs throughout the night and can help promote more restful nights of sleep. I haven't yet bought any such type of mattress, but this is a future indulgence that is on the wish list. Before we go into the last category, if you have found this video helpful in any way so far, please consider sharing it with someone that might benefit from this information or someone that you know that maybe isn't getting the best sleep. These videos take hundreds of hours to make and it only takes 10 seconds to share, so that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so the final category for sleep optimization is you, and the first would be exercise. So getting at least 30 minutes of exercise on most days will help improve sleep, but do try to avoid any exercise 2 to 3 hours before you intend to sleep. Exercise helps to reduce stress, and stress has been shown to interfere with sleep. Second would be having some kind of pre-sleep ritual that helps you to relax before bed. Maybe that is reading for 30 minutes or taking a hot bath or shower before bed. When you get out of the bath or shower, the drop in your body's temperature helps to signal to the body that it is now time for sleep. Anything within your pre-sleep ritual that doesn't require a screen, electronics, or more blue light is always preferable. Matthew Walker always suggests that if you find yourself in bed tossing and turning, trying to sleep, you should get up and do something relaxing until you feel that onset of sleep pressure. Trying to force yourself to sleep is often more detrimental to your sleep than just getting up for, 20 minutes or so and doing something relaxing. Lastly would be to monitor. So you can't change what you can't see. So it's always advantageous to have some kind of sleep monitor so you can track your sleep and adjust as needed. I personally use a device called the Fitbit Charge 5, which has been very reliable thus far. Although I have heard it isn't as accurate as some of the other sleep monitors on the market, like the Whoop Band or the Apple Watch, for example. And there's also another device which I've heard great things about, which is called an Oura Ring. And instead of being like a watch that you wear, it's actually just a ring you wear on your finger to bed. So we've looked at many different recommendations and ideas related to sleep throughout this video: the sleep cycle, the wake-sleep drive, the benefits of sleep, sleep-related hormones such as melatonin, 5 areas you can optimize for sleep, and a heap more. So if you can find a way to incorporate as many of those suggestions as possible, you should be well on your way to better nights of sleep. If you have any other suggestions for better sleep that I have missed in this video, be sure to leave a comment below. I'm always looking for ways to optimize sleep, so I will keep an eye out for any suggestions in the comments. I hope this video was in some way helpful to you, and good luck in your sleep optimization journey. Take care. Bye.